Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. This is Simon with AvaTrade, and we're starting our weekly webinar. A special welcoming goes to new people, and we will explain first what we do here. We're pretty much creating a plan for the week. As the title says here, mapping out your week ahead. As traders like to say, you plan your trade and then you trade your plan. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here, just creating an order and being prepared for the upcoming trading week. We'll be talking about fundamentals, we'll talk about technicals, we'll talk about a little bit of a big picture and so on. Few things about myself. My name is Simon Friedman. I'm a senior account manager with AvaTrade. My overall experience, about 24 years. I started as a prop trader in New York City in June of 2000, and after doing that for about 11 years, I moved on to a different way of trading, and I started to mentor and educate other traders. And I'm very happy I have this great opportunity to be assisting our customers at AvaTrade. The agenda of the webinar, we'll be talking about indices, stocks, commodities, forex, and a little bit of cryptos for dessert. A risk warning. You can find a full statement at avatrade.com website. And of course, everything we do here is purely educational. We do not suggest any trades. Social media channels, please feel free to subscribe. You have Telegram, you have X, you have YouTube, which I always say it's my favorite. You have tons of information there, tutorials, educational material, webinars, including these ones. All our webinars are being recorded and posted on YouTube. So if you miss the webinar, you can go back and watch it. If you just want to browse through past webinars, it's a great collection of them there. And it's very useful and educational. Feel free, if you are watching this on YouTube, please don't forget to click on likes, only if you like it, of course. And also give us some feedback, subscribe as well, click on that bell so you'll be notified, and feel free to share it with your friends. Okay, so before we go to the slides that I usually prepare, so we had a busy week. Markets continue going higher. The equity markets are going higher. So does gold. Very interesting. They go in the same direction. So it's earnings season as well. We had about I think 10% of S&P 500 companies reporting last week. We'll go through some of the companies reporting. Also, this upcoming week, we have about 20% of the S&P 500 companies reporting. We'll go also through some of them and try to take a look at the chart, what it looks like for the upcoming earnings. We have economic data. We had some interest rate decisions last week. We have some coming up this week. We'll take a look at economic calendar, and that's it pretty much. Let's start. So with gold, as I said, the gold's been making all-time highs. We closed above 2,700 on Friday. It's a nice article here on marketwatch.com, and the title says here, gold's record-breaking run comes as stock hit fresh highs. That's exactly what I've said. And the question is it too late for investors? And there's some opinions. You can take a look at the article, and interesting to understand what's happening with gold. Now, we are about 18 days away from the next interest rate decision. As you know, since the last data, the inflation ticking up. We had the change of percentage for the next rate. So we have currently, this is as of now, about 90% probability, according to CME tools, that it will be another rate cut in the upcoming decision date by 25 basis points. So that's how it looks as of today. With the upcoming week and some data coming in, it might be changing one way or another. Boeing, as you know, we spoke about it a few times. The strike is still going on. Last week we mentioned that the company is getting rid of 10% of employees, which is probably sad for those people, of course, and they're trying to really cut the bottom line. And of course, the strike is still going, and this is the article in Barron's. says there's a tentative deal to end the strike, and there's some details here. They kind of agreeing to about 35% raise or base raise, and some bonuses, one-time bonuses or contributions. So I think we're going to hear more concrete details about the deal. Is it done? Not. So Boeing is still uncertain there. 10-year yields, as you know, I usually show this chart here. We did have a downtick on Friday, which pushed the dollar a bit lower and give a little bit more push to the upside to gold. We closed at 407. We're still above the 4 mark here. So the dollar is still strong, but the gold doesn't care. It just keeps on moving higher. And that's what I'm saying. It's kind of weird. I think I mentioned last week, we have dollar strong, gold strong, and equity market strong. So something is not, or something is lying. Something's got to give, as we said. Okay. Economic calendar. A few words to new people about the economic calendar. This is public information. You can access it at our web trader or a mobile app. Also, you can just Google it. There's a lot of providers of this data. You can know it ahead of time. And it's important to know, as some people are not sure about it, simply if you are a serious trader or trying to become one, you need to be prepared for certain things. You can't predict these things. You can't really know the outcome, but just the idea of knowing the certain things are coming out at certain times, it's very important so you can make your decisions as far as keeping the trade, entering or not entering the trade, and so on. So here the times are in GMT, and I take out, as usual, only high impact events. They're all in red here. So there are few important events this week. We have a lot of speeches. We have Governor of Bank of England speaking on Tuesday, and also Governor of ECB, Lagarde, speaking on Tuesday as well. As you know, we had the interest rate decision last week. There was a cut from ECB. Now, Wednesday, very important, the Canadian dollar has been super weak against the other currencies. We'll see, as far as here, the consensus is actually half percentage of the cut on Wednesday, maybe. That's why Canadian dollar has been super weak. We'll take a look at the charts when we get there. And it could be that it's already priced in. It could be that it will continue its weakness, or maybe it will bounce. So it's very important. On Wednesday, we have decision and followed by a statement, and then the press conference later on. Another speech in between by President Lagarde of the ECB. Governor of New Zealand Bank is speaking as well. So you could see a lot of speeches here. And again, Governor of Bank of England speaking again, and speaks again on Saturday here. So that's Wednesday, decision and speeches. Thursday, we have a lot of data from Germany. We have the PMI data from European Union. We have PMI data, both manufacturing and service. Also, both manufacturing and service PMI data from UK. We have monetary policy report hearing from Bank of England. They will know more about their last decision. Manufacturing PMI data as well from US, both manufacturing and service. We have CPI data from Japan, very important, as we do speak about Japanese yen a lot. Let's see how this data will affect Japanese yen. Will it continue its strength or not? And as we said, Saturday, another speech of Governor of Bank of England. So that's the economic calendar. We'll be watching it. Okay, so let's move to the charts. We'll start, as usual, with indices. We'll start with China. As you could see here, we spoke about it last week. We went through 50% retracement. So just, again, I'm just assuming that we're on the same page. There's a lot of new people are watching it or participating in this webinar. So it's very, very important. We had a huge move to the upside. Just zoom out. We came to the levels of a few years back, you could say. And then basically what caused the measures that the government of China is taking to save the economy, that they injected equity into the markets. They also changed some requirements for the banks to hold cash and other things. So it was a positive reaction, huge reaction in the Chinese index. And then, as you could see here, we discussed it. In 2 days, we raised about 0.5% of that move. And then we came to the 61.8% retracement on Fibonacci. And on Friday, we moved back to 50. So it looks like we're holding this classic 61% scenario on Fibonacci retracement. We'll see what happens. As you know, if you're regular here, when we speak about China, we speak about 4 instruments of 4 assets, 4 markets. That's copper, oil, Australian and New Zealand dollar, as they are being affected by China on the demand side. So copper, we had an uptick on Friday, as you could see here. Crude oil, not really. It has its own game. I think most of it is a fear of demand drying up, and that comes from OPEC. Here we go. We've been selling, and we're totally neglecting the geopolitical situation, the war in the Middle East. As you could see here, we had a big slide recently in oil. So that's on oil, and Australian and New Zealand dollar also had an uptick for the last 2 sessions. Here we go. So they are reacting to China. So that's Chinese index, as we said, had a nice bounce. We are at the 50% retracement. Let's see if we manage to break above and close and maybe go and confirm some higher levels, or we might be actually channeling here between these 2 levels on Fibonacci, or maybe we might even come back. Those are the 3 scenarios. US indices, let's take a quick look. We are making the highs. Thursday, we tried all-time high, we traced Friday, green day. So we're sitting at the highs here on S&Ps. NASDAQ, a little bit far from the all-time highs. We think we're about 1.5% away from it. And Dow Jones is at the all-time highs, as you could see here. Friday, we did the intraday all-time high on these futures here. We were as high as 43,579, and we closed at 43,533. Let's see if it's higher than. No, we closed lower than the Thursday's high. So we're still at the highs. As you could see, the indices are super strong, and it's kind of a paradox. As we said, we have all 3 assets moving higher. US dollars moving higher, gold's moving higher, and the equity markets are moving higher. Germany, super strong, as that cut in or interest rate cut decision by ECB put more boost into the economy. As we know, similar idea in the US, the idea of cutting rates, it's pushing the equity market higher. So German index is at the, I think, all-time highs currently. Let's see how this week plays. UK got out this week out of this channel. We did manage to close it, and Friday, as you could see, we confirmed the support around 350. And let's see if we're managing to move higher from here. So that's as far as indices, right? And we're moving to stocks, and we'll take a quick look at some companies that reported last week. Let me switch briefly to the MT5. Here we go. Netflix reported great news on Friday. As you could see, the stock gapped and continued. So I think when Netflix at the all-time high, all the way up there. So super positive news. And moving higher, as far as I remember, I think they announced, I think the last earning report that starting next year, they will not be announcing or reporting the amount of subscribers added. So initially there was a negative reaction by shareholders, but as you could see, the earnings are robust and we are moving higher. Another company reporting was Morgan Stanley, also positive reaction there. On the negative side, we had Citi reporting not such a, I think they missed the earnings, the profits. Here we go. That was moved to the downside. We closed about the same level as the low of that reporting day, which was on the 15th. That was as far as companies reporting. Now, what happened also with NVIDIA? Let's take a quick look. NVIDIA is struggling with this high of June 20th. We're trying to break through, and so far we're not managing to do that. Okay, now the companies that will be reporting this upcoming week, like I said, it's going to be about 20% of S&P 500 companies reporting. So let's take a look at a few of them. We have on Tuesday, General Motors and Verizon Communication reporting. So this is GM stock, as you could see here. It's been strong. We're trying to break the previous highs here with a double top. We're trying to get there again. Again, some traders might look into it as a W formation, which might have extension to the upside. We will not guess, of course, try to predict. We'll watch it. So the GM reporting on Tuesday. Same thing with Verizon. Verizon's been strong. You could see here, we made a high at the end of September. Since then, we sold, and we're trying to break out of this 44 level. So we'll see how the earnings will affect the price of shares. So that's Verizon. On Wednesday, we have a big report from Tesla. As you know, Tesla's been up and down. This was up on the promises and expectation of a robotaxi presentation. Then things cooled down, and after the presentation, the stock just kept down. They didn't make investors and traders happy. So we are at the 220 level, which is a major level for Tesla lately. So the report, the earning report comes on Wednesday. So Tesla reports on Wednesday. Then we have both AT&T and T-Mobile also reporting that day. AT&T has been strong. We spoke about it. Been moving up when the market actually was very shaky. As you could see here, it looks like we found resistance or recent resistance at around 20 to 31. Then we made a lower high followed by the lower low. That's a little bit of a sign of the weakness. Let's see. We're going to mark it. Actually, the lower low didn't happen yet. I take it back. Okay, so let's see what the earnings will do to AT&T, and that's on Wednesday as well. The same thing with T-Mobile. T-Mobile has been moving higher, super strong. The price we didn't mention it, I think, for a long time, if ever. Wow. T-Mobile is just running up. I guess it's being a leading company in telecommunication in the US. It looks like it. Take a look. Few corrections, and we are definitely at the all-time high. Super steep move to the upside. So T-Mobile reporting together with AT&T and Tesla on Wednesday. Then Thursday, we have some companies reporting. That includes Honeywell, also super strong vertical move to the upside, breaking the previous high of July. So they are reporting on Thursday, as well as Southwest Airlines. It looks like there's a consolidation here in a tight range. Let's see in the weekly chart what they do. We are above the previous high. Let's see what the earnings will do. That's again on Thursday. UPS reporting on Thursday as well. So looking up, we have immediate resistance around 136.77, and we came from the support around 130. We are between 100 and the 200 moving average. So they are also reporting on Thursday. And then Western Digital as well. It's been struggling here, as you could see. There was a sell-off here after making highs. Technology company had a huge sell-off. Then slowly we started zigzagging higher. We're sitting right on 200 moving average above it. So again, the earnings, it's going to be a lot. I'm just going to read it again. What we have from the major companies: Tuesday, GM and Verizon; Wednesday, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Tesla. I think Tesla is the key one here. That's on Wednesday. And Thursday, Honeywell, International, Southwest Airlines, UPS, and Western Digital. Okay. And as we said, NVIDIA, as the one pushing the markets higher, it's been struggling to making new highs. And still, we had banking. If you remember, the first week there was a positive. This past week we had Morgan Stanley, as we said, moving higher, and Citi moving lower. So we also will continue watching the banking sector. Okay, let's move to commodities, and just want to share with you the biggest gainers and the losers for the week, and we'll take a look at them. So for this past week, we have few major moves. Silver is one of them. Silver moved tremendously this past week. For the week, it went up 6.83%, reaching the level of 2012, according to this chart here. Take a look, just right here. December of 2012, silver was around this level right here. So super strong move. Of course, gold, all-time high, as we said, closing at the high of the day. We up on gold for a week, 2.24%. And another metal, which is platinum, also a strong move for the week, 3.13%. Look like we're trying to break to the previous high here from beginning of October. You see we had a nice correction confirming the previous support. Let's see if we manage to break out of it. So it looks like metals are in the high demand. Silver, gold, platinum, classic metals, right? Pressure metals. Okay, now energy has been slipping. Natural gas, another drop. For the week, we were down 14.5%. Take a look, we just crossed on the daily chart, the 200-day moving average. Let's see if we manage to hold into it, or we might continue lower to look for some support. So you could see here this recent move started after testing this level, this current level of 226. So let's see if we manage to bounce from here, or this gravity will push it lower. So natural gas down for the week, 14.5%. Crude oil, as we mentioned, also down a bit this past week, went down more than 8%. As you could see here, we are testing the trend line here. This is the daily chart. If you remember, we set it up connecting the previous lows, and we are testing the trend line again here. Let's see how this week plays. for crude oil. And another big loser for the week is wheat, down 4.64%, a huge drop, raising the previous 2 days. So Friday there was a drop, and we approaching about the stick of the 150-day moving average here. So that's as far as the big gainers and losers. Now, as we said, crude oil trend lining here, trying to test this current level around 69. Let's take a quick look at cocoa. Cocoa, after as we said, after this huge move with the shortage of cocoa in Western Africa, we've been zigzagging here. But as you could see clearly, we've been making lower highs consistently, but the lows are around 7,000. Take a look. Every time we come to 7,000, we're bouncing. So the last bounce happened here, beginning of October, and now we're on the way down to retest it again. So we also will take a look at cocoa. Let's see if we manage to come here. But it looks like the traders found this game here, picking it up around 7,000. Every time it comes here, it bounces. So we'll take a look at that. Okay, that's it with commodities. And let's move to Forex. And we'll start as usual with US dollars. You could see all this move went up on the 10-year yields, climbing about 4. We hit the 200 moving average, classic scenario. We rejected it. Friday we went down. So Thursday's low is still our point of reference. So if we do break the Thursday's low, which is 103.23 on this chart, we might continue lower here. The next level for testing was the level of previous resistance that could be support now around 103, 103.05 here, and also a 100-day moving average here. So, and of course, if we do break Thursday's high, we might continue higher and retest the highs, but it looks like the 200 moving average is playing as a strong resistance at this point. So if you take a look at majors, Euro's been super low. We came all the way to 108, and Friday we bounced. We are below all 3 moving averages here. Similar levels, similar idea of a mirror image of the dollar index. If we do break through the Thursday's high, we might continue higher on Euro USD. Pound, as you could see here, we came to retest 130.43 level. This week we broke below. We had a closing full candle below, and then Friday we tried to break out again. So let's see how that plays out. And Canadian, I think, is the major one for this week. It's been super, super weak. As you could see, dollar CAD's been going higher. A lot of it to do, of course, with the strength of the dollar, but as well, the weakness of crude oil is affecting it as well. So let's see what that decision from Bank of Canada, how will we react? Was that cut already priced in? Will we continue higher here on USD CAD? That means the CAD might continue lower, and we'll find out, and we'll definitely will see that reaction on the decision on Bank of Canada. Inflation data on Japan will definitely affect JPY. As you could see here, we did move lower from the mid-August. We came below 140, and we had a nice recovery coming to 150 again. And as you could see here, this level here, 149.30, 149.40, has been a bottle filled here. And as you could see, they've been fighting for this level. So that definitely the inflation data towards the end of the week will be affecting Japanese yen. And of course, the move on the US dollar for this week might be giving us an idea. If we are holding this, we might be continue higher, maybe retesting the 200 moving average here. Or if we break below that and start building resistance against this 149.30 level, we might continue sliding lower, maybe to 50-day moving average or to around 146, 145 area. So that's as far as Japanese yen. Again, it's both technical and the CPI data from Japan will be affecting it for sure. Now, we spoke about Australian and New Zealand dollar being affected by China here. Let's see if this reversal is real or it's just a minor correction, and we might go and retest the 200 moving average here. This is on Aussie. New Zealand dollar, we are below the 160.70 level here. We are below the 200 moving average. So far, it's clearly showing us a lot of weakness here. Now, a few things for dessert, for something that we're not discussing often. There are few currency pairs. Let me just find them. Of course, we want to take a look at ZAR, USD ZAR. I apologize for not finding it easily. Let's see if I manage to find it here. So, as you could see, USD ZAR. Here, ZAR looks very strong on this robust move on the dollar. On the other charts, it hasn't really moved higher against the ZAR. So if we do see correction in the US dollar, we might actually see the move to the downside on this currency pair. So definitely USD ZAR, we do want to watch this week on the next development on the US dollar, right? And there are few other pairs that I've been looking for. Here we go. USD Hungarian forint also is a very interesting spot here. We've been talking about it in the past. If you remember, I mentioned some fundamental things with the Prime Minister of Hungary opposing help to Ukraine and being attacked by others and so on. But technically, here we go. Every time we came to around 350, we had a nice bounce. Here's one, here's another one, and this one was big. We came all the way in the recent moves. On Thursday, we hit the high of 370.82, and then Friday we broke below the previous level here of 367.80. So if dollar starts the week or this week with the move to the downside, we might actually see continuation of this pair to the downside. So USD Hungarian forint, definitely we need to watch. Now USD NOK, Norwegian kroner was strong. As you know, Norway, similar to Canada, being affected by the price of the oil, as they also produce oil, besides the salmon, right? So we do have a very interesting situation here in the current level, around 1090. Last time we hit this level with the sell-off making a lower low. And now, as you could see, with a lot of tails, we're trying to decide which way to go. So if the dollar gets weaker, and especially if the oil gets stronger here, we might see a nice move to the downside potentially. And if the opposite scenario happens, the strength of the dollar continues, the weakness of oil continues, we might actually continue to the upside. So that's as far as these three pairs, USD Hungarian, USD NOK, and USD ZAR, we'll be watching. And as I promised, for dessert, we'll take a quick look at Bitcoin, super strong. We came to the levels currently now of the end of July. As you could see here, each move, each large candle is being supported by nice consolidation, no reaction, no selling, no taking profits. So we came up above 67. We went easily through 65, you could say that. And as you could see, we are trading around 68,500 here. So if we are continuing higher, we might retest this level. The spike here before the sell-off The high of it was a little bit shy of 70,000, which is important psychological number. So we definitely will be watching that. Just to remind us, the all-time high was in the month of March, and it was 73,771. That's about 5,000 away from the current price. So we'll continue watching cryptos as well. Okay, so let's just put it all together, what we spoke about today. We have earnings season, which is the most important thing. We had some earnings, including the banks last week. We had Netflix pushing the market higher. This week, we have about 20% of S&P 500 companies reporting. We have a lot of data on economic calendar. We have an interest rate decision from Canada. We have speeches from some governors and presidents of the banks, a full week of announcements. And unfortunately, the war continues both in Ukraine and in the Middle East. And that brings a lot of uncertainty, sometimes volatility that affects the oil. Surprisingly, it affects the oil to the downside, which some people are very curious and confused about it. So that just shows you that not always common sense prevails, right? Usually when things are happening in the Middle East, you'll see a huge spike in oil. And I think it was there initially, but then things just went down. So let's watch all the data. Let's see how the earnings are affecting the markets. Let's see the dollar. Did it reach the recent peak? Are we going to correction? Let's see Canadian dollar again on the decision. Let's see yen reacting to later in the week CPI data from Japan. And I want to wish everyone a good weekend. Get some energy, prepare yourself, get some rest, and have an amazing and successful trading week. And we should be back next Sunday. Take care. All the best.